Next week, you will see that this car will be jacked up and preparations for the 2022 season will be started. So, I probably said this last year, but I'll say it again. Don't let your race car sit for 3 months after the runoffs. Just do one thing every day. Jack it up one day. Pull the wheels off the next day. Clean the wheels the day after that. You know, pull some body work the day after that. Clean it the day after. I mean, just, if you do just, honestly, 15 minutes a day, if you just do something every day, when January, February, March rolls around and you want to go racing again, you're going to be ready. So, in the meantime, I've got engines to build, cars to build, lots more coming. There's never time to celebrate too much because we always have lots going on. So, hope you guys got the opportunity to watch some of the races. I believe it's the 14th. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's the 14th. Yep. Attempt to jump on it here fairly quick and kind of keep the ball rolling in between doing all of the engines that I do. So that's kind of where we're at. Now, in moving forward here, as you can see, the race car's jacked up. The wheels are off. Well, that's all I've gotten done in the last week. But it's been like 5 work days and there's 4 wheels. So jack the car up one day and 1 wheel per day, right? That's my story and I'm sticking to it anyway. In the meantime, still progressing on removing the engine and transmission from. As you can see, the pile is getting smaller as the pieces go in. So that's always a good thing. BMW wise this week, I have been crawling underneath, nut and bolt checking, just making sure that I don't have a major problem. I was going to point this out to you guys. I know you've already heard me preach, don't let your car sit for months on end. The other thing that you want to do is give it a good quick once over to make sure that you don't have anything that needs to be ordered. For example, Cometic head gaskets. I have already ordered my Cometic head gasket. Cometic says January for that. So the head gasket is ordered. In the meantime, I'll work on getting the engine and transmission out, but I've already been working on making sure I don't have anything major underneath wrong with the car. So always more progress. Moving on, moving on. BMW update. As you can see, the bodywork is off. Everything actually underneath has been looking really good. So the next step on this car is going to be to get the engine and transmission out so that I can get the engine up on the engine stand. You can't put the cylinder heads on these back on in the car, otherwise I would. But the way that the lifters work, you have to actually tip it on its side, both directions, to get the lifters and the shims back in. So progress every week, that's the key. So that's kind of where we're at here this week. You know how I am. I have. So the BMW engine and transmission are ready to be pulled. I've got all the lines disconnected, all the wirings disconnected. This is just the bleeder for the annular clutch. I'm keeping the cover on it. Obviously the radiator is out. All I need to do is loosen up the engine mounts and the tranny mounts, and out she comes. I'll get it out, get the transmission off, get it up on the stand. And I want to replace the oil pan gasket. I tried something different when I installed this gasket this time, and I was just getting a couple little drips, which annoy me. So got a new gasket over here in the box, and we will progress. Like I said, I try and spend 10 or 15 minutes every morning before I kind of get to working on customer stuff. I get out here early between 7 and 8, spend some time on the car. If you just chip away, come springtime, you'll be ready to go. So that's kind of... And look here, nothing in the engine compartment of the BMW. That's because it's sitting on the ground. So next thing to do is to get the transmission off of the engine, get this motor up on the engine stand, and start working on getting it all back together. So a bunch of pieces to clean from the runoffs, but as you know, I try and do something every day, and we just so happen to get the runoffs trophies in this week. Look at this thing. I'll tell you what, so, and I actually meant to bring one of my old trophies down. Back in the early 2000s, the tracks actually did the trophies, and there were kind of some funny ones because they were nothing like this. This is a beautiful trophy. Look at this thing. And it's super tall. I mean, this is, let's see here. Can you see it? No, you can't see it. This thing's huge. Got to figure out where I'm going to put it. Down to the basement, probably. But thank you to SCCA for this gorgeous trophy. Jeez. I'll take it, man. So, like I always say, 2022, the next season is now upon us. So, keep pushing. Keep working on your car. Don't let it sit. Keep working away. Just do little things here and there all winter. Springtime will come, you'll be ready. I know I sound like a broken record. But for those of you that may not have seen all of these shop tours, that's my mantra when it comes to getting your race car finished. So that's about where we're at for the week, guys. BMW update. I cannot wait to get all of this plastic back on this ND and get it out of here. What a mess. BMW update. Valve lash and camshaft installed on the exhaust side this week. So you guys know I chip away at this thing constantly. Only about 15 to 20 minutes at a time. But, you know, I'll clean something one morning. So just to give you an example how, you know, the bench is starting to clear off here a little bit. So I've got the caps for the intake cam cleaned. It needs to be, the cam still needs to be cleaned, and all of these parts need to be cleaned, but we're chipping away. Chipping away. So anyway, BMW progress. There you go. Both camshafts in and valve lash completed. I know there was a little bit of a discussion about the Spec Miata engines. Of course, if you followed my intake manifold debacle from the runoffs, you know that I had to get this intake manifold. Well, trying to clean this thing out, it's just filthy inside. This came from that pick and pulse. That's just, I'm just going to rub my thumb on. Look at that. So I'm trying to scrub it, stick it in the ultrasonic cleaner, get this thing. Yep, you can see water coming out of it. Look how nasty that is. So I'm still kind of working on cleaning the intake manifold up, but motor's pretty much ready to go. Transmission can get put on. Just kind of working through all the little nuts and bolts that will be finalizing, you know, the install. And of course, my new restrictor plate. So we have our adapter, which will go onto the intake manifold, and then the restrictor plate. So just to give you an idea of how much they're yanking off of me these days, this is 6 millimeters smaller than the throttle body. It's 1 millimeter smaller than last year. So you can see it says 58 on it. Last year we ran a 59 in the Z3, so down another millimeter. It is what it is. We just beat them in another way. That's kind of the way I look at it. So no reason to cry about something you can't do anything about. But like I said, hope you guys had a great... It is shop tour time. It is January, middle of January, the 13th. So we are getting right into the middle of the first month of the year.